Hey guys, Dr. Laurie Cestnick here with Mind Matters. Today we're talking about OCD at your request. Three aspects of it: psychological, neuropsychological, and also the medical aspects that are pretty fascinating. So here we go with 4 to 5 minutes on OCD. OCD. OCD stands for Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, which means what the words entail: obsessive thinking and or compulsive behaviors that are intrusive and unwanted in your life. Before making a diagnosis of OCD, we do rule out a few things. We want to make sure, for example, it's not a case of Tourettes or echolea, other forms of symptomatology that come from autism. We want to rule out medical things. For example, if the OCD is in children, we want to rule out the possibility of them having some type of infection that can lead to OCD behaviors. For example, strep throat can, when untreated, can lead to OCD behaviors in children. We refer to that as P.A.N.D.A.S, pediatric autoimmune neuropsychiatric disorder. And antibiotics cures that. So we do rule things out before giving a diagnosis of OCD. If there is a high presence of anxiety and or PTSD involved, then the OCD symptoms can be pretty obviously resultant from those sources of anxiety. In my opinion, OCD behaviors are caused by anxiety in your life that has led to lack of control and lack of predictability, and that these OCD behaviors are attempts to gain control and predictability that is lacking. One might think, for example, if I turn this light switch on and off a bunch of times, I'm going to be okay, or I have to scrub this counter a lot and then I'll be all right. It's like a superstition in a way, an unconscious superstition that by doing this, I'm going to gain the control and predictability in my life that is lacking. From this standpoint, of course, to treat OCD, we want to figure out what is lacking in one's life. Where is the lack of control? What is it that you're having a hard time predicting? Was there a traumatic event that came out of the blue that created trauma, so you're trying to get some control back into your life? So identifying the source of the anxiety obviously can help us deal with it to treat it. Medications are sometimes used to treat OCD. They don't fix the whole picture, though. They can be used temporary, or they might help a bit. People tend to use serotonin reuptake inhibitors as an example, largely known as SSRIs. They can help, not a lot, but they can help some. You can also add norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors sometimes. And you can even, if it's chronic OCD, you can even consider deep brain stimulation that actually might help. But in my opinion, largely identifying the source of anxiety is the best way that we can treat OCD. Many athletes have mild forms of OCD, whereby they think if they do and say things repeatedly prior to games that maybe that will lead to a win. Or even, fans who are superstitious about games and wanting their favorite teams to win can find themselves doing things repeatedly throughout the season to try to gain those wins. That's a very small and kind of fun example of a minute scale of OCD. OCD is that full-blown that leads to just chronic issues in your life where you just can't stop thinking about things that are bothering you that much that you seek help. You seek help for them. But it really is an attempt to gain control in a very unpredictable situation or state. So if you're feeling that you have OCD-like symptoms and you need to get some help, find a therapist, try to identify the source of your anxiety, try to deal with that anxiety. Know that you are trying to create a false sense of predictability in your life. Perhaps knowing that in itself will help you tackle the real source of the problems. And if you're really struggling, you can actually get some behavioral modification training that could work, and or try some meds, at least temporarily, to resolve the symptoms until they're not so chronic. Hi guys, Dr. Laurie Cestnick. That was OCD. We will see you next time. 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 See you next time.